Hello and welcome to the podcast. This is Ron's Amazing Stories. We have stories that should thrill you a little and chill you a little.
It's amazing.
What you'll hear are adventures sent in by you guys, classic stories from the pulp mags, and episodes from the golden age of radio. We have special segments like Ghost Stories with Sylvia.
That's amazing.
And These Are Your Stories. So settle in for the next hour and enjoy the show. One more thing. You just might want to prepare yourself to be taken away from today.
Another 5-minute mystery.
This 5-minute mystery is being brought to you by the laws of physics.
Wrong. How can physics sponsor the FMM?
The power and beauty of physical laws is that they apply everywhere, whether or not you choose to believe in them.
Oh my, that is wonderful.
Wrote that on my lunch break.
Very nice.
At the toll gate to the great new cross-country speedway, a sporty red convertible pauses.
How much, Bud?
$1.50 to the next gate. Hey, what's the trouble with your friend there in the back seat, all bandaged up that way?
Accident.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, good luck. Hey, take it easy, about 2 miles ahead. Repairs.
Okay, I'll watch it.
The convertible travels fast. 2 miles farther on, they round a slight curve. The temporary fences around the road repair work loom close ahead. There is a sudden shout from a man at the side of the highway.
Hey, look out!
Joe, did you see that? One of them guys fell out of the back seat. Let's get over there, quick!
So, Mr. Bryant, you say you weren't aware of the construction sign.
Not until I was right on top of him, Sheriff. Ask Al here. He was in the back seat with Johnny. Did we see him, Al?
Didn't the toll gate keeper warn you about that spot?
Well, the signs are moved for just a couple of minutes, Sheriff. Brad and I was out there to warn the cars to slow down.
This guy came along so fast, though, we didn't get a chance.
You realize, of course, Mr. Bryant, that this is a very serious matter. The third person in your car, John Albertson, was killed instantly when he fell from the back seat. The toll gate keeper reports that he was already the victim of an accident, was bound up in bandages.
I know, Sheriff. I shouldn't have driven so fast. I don't know what to say.
Well, let's hear your story, Joe.
Yeah, it was this way, Sheriff. Brad and I was standing alongside the highway, like I said, and all of a sudden this red convertible comes racing along doing, at least 85 around the curve.
I see. Well, go on.
Well, the two guys in the back seat, this big man Al here and the other guy, they were sitting there with their heads down. When the brakes went on, they raised up. John, the bandaged one that fell out the back, he must have lost his grip, I guess. He just flew right out the back when the car stopped.
He flew out the back, eh?
Hey, Sheriff, can we go now? I'll come back later if you want, but I feel pretty bad about this. I think I could use some rest.
Rest? Sure, Mr. Bryant, you'll get plenty of rest. Right here in the county jail. I'm holding you for the murder of John Albertson.
What reason did the sheriff have for believing that John Albertson was murdered? In just a moment, we'll find out. But first...
I see where you were going with the whole physics thing.
I am pretty clever.
Indeed. Wrong. Do you know the difference between ignorance and apathy?
BG, I don't know and I don't care.
Exactly. I wish there was a knob on the TV to turn up the intelligence.
What does that mean?
Well, there is a knob called brightness, but I tried it and it didn't work.
I think that's a slam of some sort.
Your perceptiveness boggles the mind.
And you're just mean.
I know you are, but what about me?
And now, back to our 5-minute mystery and the murder of John Albertson.
Murder? What are you talking about, Sheriff? There wasn't any murder.
It was murder, all right. And you and Al here collaborated on it. You see, Bryant, when a moving vehicle stops suddenly, the passengers in it are thrown forward, not backward. If Albertson lost his grip, he would have been thrown into the front seat, not back onto the highway. Your having him all bandaged up like that just made it easier for Al to throw him out. You see, Bryant, this time it was natural law that threw you into the hands of social law. Say, that's not a bad line.
Well, as I said at the top, physics is the key to this one.
I have to say that I think the sheriff should stick to solving crimes and stay away from one-liners.
Yeah, that was pretty awful. Any jokes?
I'd tell you a chemistry joke, but I doubt I would get a reaction.
What's that you said?
Hello, and welcome to the podcast. On the show today, we have an odd set of stories from different genres. I will review an audiobook from Zane Grey titled Riders of the Purple Sage. This is a classic Western. Then we head to space, or maybe space, in a science fiction adventure from the pages of the 1960s pulp mags. The story is titled Flamedown, and it is exciting. We will end the show with our featured story from the OTR Classic series, Escape. In this one man's greed leads to murder, and in the end, justice. It is titled The Heart of Cali. Well, that's enough said. Let's get to the show. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/Ron's Amazing Stories. They have over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, computer, Kindle. Whatever you have, you can listen to Audible on it. So what am I listening to? Riders of the Purple Sage by Zane Grey and narrated by Mark Bramall. This book was suggested to us by my brother. Thank you, Jim. Do you like a really good Western? I mean, one with all the good classic stuff? I think most of us would answer yes to that. This book just might be the best Western I have ever listened to. But few have heard the whole story. For the first time in a century, Zane Grey's best-selling novel is presented in its original form exactly as he wrote it. In the early 1900s, Zane Grey took his manuscript to two publishing companies. They rejected it because of the theme of Mormon polygamy. Their fear is that it would offend their readers and subscribers. Grey made a special plea to Frederick Dunica, who was vice president of Harper Brothers and was Mark Twain's personal editor. Dunica and his wife read the novel and liked it, but also feared that it would offend some readers. Harper Brothers agreed to publish a changed version of the novel and purchased both the book and the magazine's serial rights. Given the task of executing the necessary editorial changes, a senior editor of the company made changes in tone, diction, and style, as well as content. The novel first appeared in 19 installments in the monthly magazine Field and Stream from January of 1912 to July of 1913. So what happened to the original manuscript? Well, it has been restored to its original glory as written by Zane Grey himself. Riders of the Purple Sage is a story about three main characters: Bern Venters, Jane Witherstein, and Jim Lassiter, the latter being a feared gunfighter. All three struggle with persecution from the local Mormon community led by Bishop Dyer and Elder Toll. The story takes place in the fictional town of Cottonwoods, Utah. It is full of fistfights, gunfights, cattle rustling, and much, much more. Here's a clip from the beginning of the novel.
A sharp clip-clop of iron-shod hoofs deadened and died away, and clouds of yellow dust drifted from under the cottonwoods out over the sage. Jane Withersteen gazed down the wide purple slope with dreamy and troubled eyes. A rider had just left her, and it was his message that held her thoughtful and almost sad, awaiting the churchmen who were coming to resent and attack her right to befriend a Gentile. She wondered if the unrest and strife that had lately come to the little village of Cottonwoods was to involve her. Then she sighed, remembering that her father had founded this remotest border settlement of southern Utah, and that he had left it to her. She owned all the ground and many of the cottages. Withersteen House was here, and the great ranch with its thousands of cattle and the swiftest horses of the sage. To her belonged Amber Spring, the water that gave verdure and beauty to the village and made living possible on that wild, purple upland waste. She could not escape being involved by whatever befell Cottonwoods. That year, 1871, had marked a change that had been gradually coming in the lives of the peace-loving Mormons of the border. Glaze, Stonebridge, Sterling, villages to the north, had risen against the invasion of Gentile settlers and the forays of rustlers. There had been opposition to the one and fighting with the other, and now Cottonwoods had begun to wake and better itself and grow hard. Jane prayed that the tranquility and sweetness of her life would not be permanently disrupted. She meant to do so much more for her people than she had done. She wanted the sleepy, quiet, pastoral days to last always. Trouble between the Mormons and Gentiles of the community would make her unhappy. She was Mormon-born, and she was a friend to poor and unfortunate Gentiles. She wished only to go on doing good and being happy, and she thought of what that great ranch meant to her. She loved it all, the grove of cottonwoods, the old stone house, the amber-tinted water, and the droves of shaggy, dusty horses and mustangs, the sleek, clean-limbed, blooded racers, and the browsing herds of cattle, and the lean, sun-bronzed riders of the sage. While she waited there, she forgot the prospect of untoward change. The bray of a lazy horse broke the afternoon quiet, and it was comfortingly suggestive of the drowsy farmyard and the open corrals and the green alfalfa fields. The rapid beat of hoofs recalled Jane Withersteen to the question at hand. A group of riders cantered up the lane, dismounted, and threw their bridles. They were 7 in number, and Tull, the leader, a tall, dark man, was an elder of Jane's church. "Did you get my message?" he asked curtly. "Yes," replied Jane. "I sent word I'd give that rider Venters half an hour to come down to the village. He didn't come." "He knows nothing of it," said Jane. "I didn't tell him. I've been waiting here for you." "Where is Venters?" "I left him in the courtyard." "Here, Jerry," called Tull, turning to his men. "Take the gang and fetch Venters out here if you have to rope him."
Audible presents the original, uncensored, unabridged novel, Riders of the Purple Sage, and you can have this book today. Here's what Audible has set up for us. They are offering a free audiobook and 30 days to give you the opportunity to check out their service. This includes free access to the Audible Plus catalog, which is updated monthly with new titles. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/Ron's Amazing Stories. Again, that's audibletrial.com/Ron's Amazing Stories, and you can get Riders of the Purple Sage today. Thank you, Audible.
As read by Amazing Stories, read by amazing people.
This time on As Read By, we have a story sent in by Johan G. from Pretoria, South Africa. Yeah, I know. That in itself is amazing. It comes from the pages of Analog Science Fact and Fiction, August of 1961. This is a strange story with an ending that should surprise you. I sure didn't see it coming. The story is titled Flamedown and was written by H.B. Fife. The tagline for this one reads, "It was, of course, one hell of an ending for a trip to Mars." It is read for us by Johan.
Charlie Holmes lost touch with reality amid rending and shattering sounds that lingered dimly. Blackness engulfed him in a wave of agony. He was not sure exactly when the possibility of opening his eyes occurred to him. Vaguely, you could sense, remember was too definite, much tugging and hauling upon his supine body. It doubtless seemed justifiable, but he flinched from recalling more clearly that which must have been so extremely unpleasant. Gently now, he tried rolling his head a few inches right, then left. When it hurt only 1/10 as much as he feared, he let his eyes open. "Hello," rasped the bulbous creature squatting beside his pallet. Charlie shut his eyes quickly and very tightly. Something with a dampish, spongy tip, probably one of the grape-red tentacles he had glimpsed, prodded his shoulder. "Hello," insisted the scratchy voice. Charlie peeped wearily, was strapped at it, and opened his eyes resignedly. "Where the hell am I?" he inquired. It sounded very trite, even in his confused condition. Sections of the dark red skin before him, especially on the barrel-shaped belly, quivered as he spoke. "Surely," grated the remarkable voice, "you remember something." "The crash!" gasped Charlie, sitting up abruptly. He held his breath, awaiting the knifing pain it seemed natural to expect. When he felt none, he cautiously fingered his ribs, and then a horrid thought prompted him to wiggle his bare toes. Everything seemed to be in place. He lay in a small room on a thin pallet of furs. Floor and walls of slick ochre clay reflected the bright outside light pouring through a wide doorway. "What's all the sand?" he demanded, squinting at the heat waves outside. "You do not recognize it? Look again, Earthman." Earthman, thought Charlie. It must be real. I can still see him. What a whack on the head I must have got. "You are in pain?" asked the creature solicitously. "Oh, no, just... I can't remember the crash, and then..." "Ah, yes, you have not been conscious for some time." His reddish host rippled upward to stand more or less erect upon 3 thick tentacles. "Even with us, memory is slow after shock, and you may be uneasy in the lighter gravity." "Light gravity?" reflected Charlie. "This can only mean Mars. Sure, that must be it. I was piloting a rocket and cracked up somewhere on Mars." It felt right to him. He decided that the rest of his memory would return. "Are you able to rise?" asked the other, extending a helpful tentacle. The Earthman managed to haul himself stiffly to his feet. "Say, my name is Holmes," he introduced himself dizzily. "I am Koteki. In your language, learned here since from other spacemen, I might say, fiery canal man." "Has to be Mars," muttered Charlie under his breath. "What a bump! When can you show me what's left of my ship?" "There will be no time," answered the Martian. Bunches of small muscles twitched here and there across the front of his round, pudgy head. Charlie was getting used to the single eye, half the size of an orange and not much duller. With imagination, the various lumps and organs surrounding it might be considered a face. "Priestesses will lead the crowd here," predicted Ko. "They know I took an Earthman, and I fear that they have finished with the others." "Finished with what?" demanded the Earthman, shaking his head in hopes of clearing it enough to figure out what was wrong. "It has been an extremely dry season." Ko rippled his tentacles and moved lissomely to the doorway, assuming a grotesque, furtive posture as he peered out. "The people are maddened by the drought. They will be aroused to sacrifice you to the canal gods, like the others who survived." "Canal gods?" croaked Charlie. "This can't be right. Aren't you civilized here? I can't be the only Earthman they've seen." "It is true that Earthmen are perfectly safe at most times." "But the laws, the Earth Council." Ko snapped the tip of a tentacle at him. "The canals are low. You can feel the heat and dryness for yourself. The crowds are inflamed by temple prophecies, And then your ship flaming down from the skies. He snapped all his tentacle tips at once. From somewhere outside, a threatening murmur became audible. It was an unholy blend of rasping shouts and shriller chanting, punctuated by notes of a brassy gong. As Charlie listened, the volume rose noticeably. Ko reached out with one tentacle and wrapped 6 inches about the Earthman's wrist. When he plunged through the doorway, Charlie perforce went right with him. Whipping around a corner of the hut, he had time for a quick squint at the chanters. Ko alone had looked weirdly alien. 200 like him. Led by a dozen bulgy figures in streaming robes, masked and decorated in brass, the natives were swarming over the sand towards the fugitives. They had evidently been busy. Above a distant cluster of low buildings, a column of smoke spiraled upward suggestively. Ko led the way at a floating gallop over a sandstone ridge and down a long slope toward what looked like the junction of 2 gullies. "The canal," he wheezed. "With luck we may find a boat." A frenzied screech went up as the mob topped the ridge and regained sight of them. Charlie, having all he could do to breathe in the thin air, tried to shake his wrist loose. Now that they were descending the slope, he saw where the water was. They slid down a 4-foot drop in a cloud of fine, choking dust and were faced by several punt-like craft stranded in the mudflat beyond. The water was 50 feet further. "We should have gone downstream," said Ko, "but we can wade." Their momentum carried them several steps into the mud before Charlie realized how wrong that was. Then, as they floundered about to regain the solid bank, it became apparent that they would never reach it in time. "They are catching us," rasped Ko. The howling crowd was scarcely 100 yards away. The heat waves shimmered above the reddish desert sand until the Martians were blurred before Charlie's burning eyes. His feet churned the clinging mud, and he felt as if he were running in a dream. "I'm sorry you're in it too," he panted. "It does not matter. I act as I must." The Earthman rubbed sweat from his eyes with the back of a muddy hand. "Everything is wrong," he mumbled. "I still can't remember cracking up the ship. Why did I always want to be a rocket pilot? Well, I made my bed." The oncoming figures wavered and blurred in the heat. Ko emitted a grating sound reminiscent of an earthly chuckle. "As do all you mortals who finally have to lie in them," he rasped. "I will tell you now, since I can carry this episode little farther. You have never piloted a spaceship." Charlie gaped at him incredulously. What about the wreck?" "It was a truck that hit you, Charles Holmes. You have no more sense than to be crossing the street with your nose in a magazine just purchased on the corner." With some dulled, creeping, semi-detached facet of his mind, Charlie noted that the running figures still floated above the sand without actually drawing near. Do you mean I'm "Of course you are," grated Ko amiably. "And in view of certain actions during your life, there will be quite a period of, shall we say, probation. When I was assigned to you, your reading habit suggested an amusing series of variations. You cannot know how dull it is to keep frustrating the same old dreams." "Amusing?" repeated Charlie, beyond caring about the whimper in his tone. The mob was dissolving into thin smoke, and the horizon was shrinking. Ko himself was altering into something redder of skin, but equipped with a normal number of limbs, discounting the barbed tail. The constant heat of the desert began at last to seem explicable. "For me a great amusement," grinned Ko, displaying hideous tusks. "Next time, I'll be a Venusian. You will lose again. Then we can visit other planets and stars. Oh, we shall see a lot of each other." He cheerfully polished one horn with a clawed finger. "You won't enjoy it," he promised.
What can I say about that story other than I loved it? As I said, it was written by H.B. Fife. His first science fiction story, Locked Out, appeared in Astounding in February of 1940, with many appearances in other magazines. He wrote a lot of his stories during his Army service in World War II. By 1967, he had published over 60 stories. His most popular was a series of tales called The Bureau of Slick Tricks. In these adventures, humans deftly outwit thick-skulled, often bureaucratic, aliens. Now, I am actually looking into these stories and may play one if they're in the public domain. I want to thank Johan G. for sharing and reading this story for us. Thank you, Johan. For our featured story, we are going to escape from today into a world of adventure and mystery. Yeah, that was a bit dramatic, but hey, this series was special when it came to storytelling. Escape brings together everything that was good about old-time radio. The title itself almost sums up the very essence of what radio drama was all about. Each episode was a microdrama carefully planned to capture the listener's attention for 30 minutes. Over 200 episodes were made, and almost all of them are as good today as they were over half a century ago. Escape was truly one of the best anthology series of the golden age of radio. Our story today is special in another way. All good things do come to an end, eventually, and such was true of Escape. The story we will play today was the very last episode to air. It happened on September 5th, 1954. It tells the story of a man whose passion gets the best of him, and as the saying goes, what goes around comes around. It is titled The Heart of Cali, and I hope you enjoy it.
Tired of the everyday grind? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape.
Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You are at the end of a journey you've committed murder to make. A barren wasteland of India, silent, desolate, where there is a cave and a carved image of the goddess Kali, whose heart is a ruby big as a grenade, and which is guarded by a smiling old man from whom there is no escape.
Listen now as Escape brings you Ross Murray's story, The Heart of Kali.
It's been a long time. Exactly how long, I don't know. The years pile up and it's hard to remember. But the beginning is easy. The beginning was a bar on the San Francisco waterfront early in 1946. Anton Korchak, owner of the Sea Nest, had put a new bartender on, and I waited a week before I made my pitch. It got a reaction. Funny, Whitey?
Kills me.
Well, I'm telling you it's true.
Kid, if I believed every story about an idol with a ruby for a heart, you think I'm out of my mind?
Now, listen, all I need's a few $100.
No, you listen. Every waterfront bum comes in here has got a dream to hawk. They sell for a beer. You want a few $100.
Yeah, but it's true, I tell you. This ruby's as big as a hand grenade, and it's there for the taking.
Now, why didn't you take it when you had the chance, Danny?
I had to get out of the cave when I heard my patrol start shooting. What good was a ruby in my pocket and a Jap bullet in my back?
Look, nobody told you to come back to the States when you got mustered out either, did they?
Couldn't help it, Whitey. I got malaria. They shipped me out of India before the war ended.
Well, it was 2 years ago. How do you know the ruby's still there?
I know it is. It's in a temple. All I have to do... What's the matter?
What do you suppose all them swamis around the temple are going to be doing while you grab the ruby? Clap hands?
Yeah, but the only one near the idol's an old man. He's just sitting there looking at it. Whitey, it's a cinch, honest. Come on, invest 500, get back maybe 100,000.
Beat it, kid. I got work to do.
Whitey.
Me and the sawed-off ball bat, Danny. I'll beat it.
Got a light, mister?
Oh, well, sure, mate. Here you are.
Thanks. You and A.B.?
Me? No, why?
Yeah, you're standing in front of the old tub here, and I figured you were maybe looking to be signed on.
No, I wasn't.
She's heading out in a half hour. Stick around. Maybe somebody won't show.
Yeah? Where's she headed for?
Other side of the world. India.
India,
Yeah.
huh? Calcutta?
No, Kanpur.
Where's that?
100 miles east.
Oh. You sure they're signed up full?
Yeah. You want to go?
Yeah, I want to go.
We'll take a passenger.
How much?
150.
With grub?
Captain's table for 175. Forecastle grub for 150.
Okay. When are you leaving?
Since the first and the engineer come aboard.
When's that?
When they can't afford any more beer.
How much is that in time?
I told you.
You told a stranger, mister. Now maybe you're telling a passenger.
Half an hour, the most. Captain don't like to wait.
They won't have to. I'll be back. I started back for the sea nest. Somebody had to listen to me. The ruby, the heart of Kali, had beat inside me like it was my own. I knew I'd do anything to get my hands on it. I'd found the way to get to India. And now all I needed was the money to buy it. It was only a few minutes before closing when I got there. Whitey was mopping up the bar, and the place was empty. Hey, Whitey.
Bar's closed, kid.
I don't want to drink. Come here. Come here. I got something to tell you.
What's on your mind?
Whitey, I can get passage to India. All I need's 150.
Beat it.
Where's Mr. Korchak?
Back room checking receipts. Why? No. You can't go back there, Danny.
You get your hands off. You try to stop me, Whitey, I'll kill you.
Go on in, kid.
Come in.
Can I see you for a minute, Mr. Korchak?
What do you want, Danny?
Look, Mr. Korchak, I'll make it fast. You know about me being in Burma, that ruby I saw there.
My bartender told me.
Well, it's the truth. Whitey knows that I saw it, and he...
Leaving now, Mr. K. Everything's locked up for the night.
Okay. Good night, Whitey.
Night, Danny.
What do you want from me, Danny?
Listen, Mr. Korchak, all I need's $150. I can get passage to India for that. It's only 150. Now, please, Mr. Korchak,
don't ask for money, Danny. A beer, maybe, but cash, no.
Mr. Korchak...
Get lost, kid.
But the boat leaves...
I said get lost, kid.
Okay, let me tell you something.
Danny...
Listen to me! I can make you rich for a lousy 150.
Get out. Get out of my place. You come in here again, I throw you to the seagulls.
150, Korchak. You're gonna give it to me?
Yeah, I guess I got to make you believe me.
You shouldn't have done that, Korchak.
Huh?
Now, I got to twist this round in you.
You try it, Danny, and you're going to...
You should have given me that dough. It's a lot cheaper than dying.
Hey, mister, you're just in time. We're shoving off.
I told you I'd be back, didn't I?
That's what a lot of them say.
Okay, let's go.
Hold on, matey.
What's the matter?
Let's see the color of your money.
Money, yeah. Here.
Got a live one, huh? Must be close to... How much in that bundle?
Look.
Price just went up to 2.5 with forecastle grub.
Hey, what are you trying to do to me?
That's the price. Take it or no.
Well, let me see the captain.
You're looking at him, boy. I'm the captain. $250.
Okay, $250. Let's go.
Climb aboard. Next stop, Chaunpur.
You Mr. Macon?
Yes?
Captain of the Paxton told me to come and see you. Said you could find me a small boat and a guide.
I can. When do you wish these things?
As soon as possible.
Where do you wish to go?
You know where Tinsukia is?
Macon knows India well.
What's the best way to go?
Your boat will take you north up the Brahmaputra River. Then you will go overland west to Tinsukia.
How long will that take?
I should say 2 weeks.
Okay, let's get going.
All charges are in advance.
How much?
$500 American.
I don't have that much.
How much have you?
$300.
Please, do not lie to me.
300.
Captain Evans of the Paxton has already notified me that you have at least 400.
I don't.
Then how much?
350. You take it or I shop around.
Be back here tomorrow morning and I will take you to your boat.
And what about my guide?
He will be there.
You better be.
Good day.
I was there the next morning. We went to the boat I'd rented. It wasn't much, but I took it. Subhas, my guide, got her wound up, and we started upriver for Tinsukia. Up till the time we left, Macon tried to find out why I wanted to go there. I told him nothing. On the 5th day out of Chaunpur, Subhas, who hadn't said a dozen words to me in all that time, came back to the stern of the boat and sat down beside me.
Sahib.
Yeah?
Why are you making this trip?
Macon asked you to find out?
No, Sahib. I ask for myself.
Why?
Because I do not wish evil to happen to you.
Oh, thanks.
But it will happen to you.
How do you know?
Makan wishes it so.
Why?
He says you know of much gold buried near Tinsukia.
He's crazy.
Is he?
Yep.
Then why did he instruct me to kill you when you found it?
What?
The truth, Sahib, I'm to kill you when you find the gold.
Subhas, let me tell you something. I'm not looking for gold.
Oh, I'm glad you are not looking for gold. I would not like to kill you.
Subhas.
Yes, Sahib Gandhi.
How much longer?
We will be on the river 2 more days, and we will go on land to Tinsukia.
Well, I don't want to go to Tinsukia.
Then where?
I want to go 10 miles or so northwest.
Oh, what is there?
Well, there was a big army camp there during the war. You remember it?
Oh, yes, I was the guide then, too.
Well, you take me there, huh?
Yes.
It was after my outfit came over the Pangsaw Pass out of Burma that I found the temple of Kali. Then we'd moved on to Tinsukia. All I wanted was to get to the site of the old army camp. I could make it from there on my own. But the closer I got to the heart of Kali, the crazier I got. Nothing mattered anymore, what I had to do or who I had to kill to get what I wanted. We finished the trip upriver and started overland. It was rough, jungle and rain, and the old malaria kicking it up. 5 days later, we were on the site of the old army camp. This is far enough, Subhas.
But there's nothing here.
There's enough. This is as far as we're going.
Then we shall rest before we return.
I'm not going back.
Then what are we...
I got to do the rest of this alone, Subhas.
You have no need for the gun. I know nothing of what you do.
No, but you would if you stayed with me any longer.
But I do not...
I left him there, and I walked on for another half a day, and then just as I'd remembered it, a cave opening almost hidden by scrub on the far side of a small clearing. I went in, and I saw it again. At the far end of the cave, the idol Kali, and in the flickering light of the lamp, its heart. I moved closer to it. And then I saw him, the same little old man I'd seen 2 years before, in that same attitude of prayer. I moved again, and he sat there, hardly seeming to breathe. And then I was ready. I ran toward the idol, my hands reaching for the ruby. And then the ground opened beneath me, and I fell. 1,000 hands clawed at me, held me, struck at me. And above... the heart of Kali shone scarlet. I don't know how long I fought them, but the time came when I couldn't fight anymore. And so I quit and let whatever it was drift over me. When I came to, he was standing at the foot of the straw pallet I was on. He was tall, gaunt, dressed in a ceremonial robe that reached to the floor.
I am Adram, the elder sannyasi of the Temple of Kali. And your name's Daniel Karlin, I believe.
Yeah, how do you know mine?
Your wallet, your papers of identification, your money, they are all there beside you.
Look, about that ruby.
There is no need for you to explain, Mr. Karlin. I am aware of your emotion concerning the ruby. Our emotion, on the other hand, the emotion of my people, has its roots in religious beliefs, in the beauty of life.
Get to the point.
The point?
Yeah, stop playing cat and mouse with me. If you're going to kill me, do it. Get it over with. If it's torture you got in mind, then you shouldn't have let me live. Because I'm not having any. Pari, Selah. Hey! Listen, you kill me if you want, but no torture. You kill me, but kill me fast.
Oh, no, my friend. We will do you no further harm. There will be no more violence done. Release him.
What are you going to do to me?
We wish to honor you.
You what?
I said you are to be honored. Listen, there is already music that you are here. And tonight we have a Bata feast, a feast of the reward, and you will be the honored guest at that feast.
But why reward me?
To prove to you that we have no hatred for him who desires the heart of Kali.
What is the reward?
You will know at the moment of bestowal.
Reward? Something I can take with me when I leave?
The emotion again, concerning the ruby.
You just said you don't hate me for it.
No. Come, I will show you the place of the feasts. This is the feasting hall where you will be the honored guest tonight.
Adram,
Yes.
how do I know for sure that I won't end up on that altar there with one of your people standing over me, ready to start butchering?
You have my words.
How do I know that's enough?
Why do you torment yourself, my friend? Had I wished it, you could have been a sacrificial lamb long before this.
I want to see the old man that sits in front of the idol.
You will see him tonight.
Hey, who is he in this setup?
You will know tonight. Now, I think you had better go back to your room, lie down, and wait.
No.
Are you afraid?
Yeah, I am.
Believe me when I say your life is precious to us now.
Doubt that.
Do not. I speak the truth.
That's the trouble. I get the feeling I'd be better off if you lied to me.
Go. Rest for the feast.
I went back to my straw mat and I laid down. But the fear wouldn't go. There was a catch in this whole operation. I couldn't nail it down. Adram was convincing, but I'd heard too much about the followers of Kali to believe him. His attitude of nonviolence had a false spot somewhere. I couldn't find it. I knew that I had to get out of the temple before the feast started, but there was only one way in or out, and that was through the cave and over the trap door in front of the idol. Someone had to trip the door physically before it could fall open. I decided to make my exit look legitimate by taking somebody with me. Pani, Adram's assistant, was standing guard outside my cubicle. So I picked him. Pani, come here. Come here, quick.
What is it? What is wrong?
Come here. Look, help me up. It's my back.
The fall. Yeah. Perhaps the fall could have twisted you.
Don't you move or I'll break your... Try that once more. I'll kill you. No. Where'd they put my gun when they brought me here? Where?
It is here in this room.
Huh?
In the pack you wore when you arrived. It is there in the corner.
Okay. Move. What do you know?
What are you going to do?
I'm leaving. You're going with me for a while for insurance.
Very well.
Aren't you going to give me any argument?
It is the wish of Adram that I do your bidding.
Okay. No, wait a minute.
Have you changed your mind?
No, I'm just going to check this gun. You're too happy about this whole thing. Clip's still full. I thought maybe... No, nothing's right about this whole setup. Let's get going.
But Adram...
Just in case you don't know it, this 45 can put a hole in you as big as a fist. Now move. Where are we now?
We are behind the idol.
Wait a minute. What about the old man?
He will not speak to us, nor attempt to stop us.
How do you know?
I know.
Okay. Well, let's move. Remember, if that trap door opens, you get dead. So no signals, huh?
No.
Wait a minute.
What is wrong?
As long as I'm getting out like this, I might as well get what I came for.
The heart of Kali?
Yeah. Now, back toward it. I got it. Now, start walking. Like you're leading me out. I'll kill you if you hesitate for a second, you understand?
I understand.
And then get going.
My friend, the butter feast is almost at an end, and yet not one morsel of food has passed your lips.
I'm not hungry.
Are you afraid you will be poisoned?
Yeah.
I will be your taster if you wish.
Adram, why didn't you kill me for trying to escape?
Because your attempt was a normal reaction. You harmed no one.
Oh, but I tried.
Oh, but you had provocation. Man always lashes out at the unknown. It is to be expected.
Yeah, but I had that trap door open as soon as Pani stepped off it. Who knew that I wasn't supposed to leave?
The old man who sits near the idol.
But I looked at him as I passed by. He just sits there. Looks at the idol. He doesn't seem to know what's going on around him.
He is aware of only two things in life. The heart of Kali and the Bata feast. He knew of the feast, and he knew that if you left, there would be none. Therefore, you are the only excuse for living that he has.
Still don't understand.
You will. The music has ended. Now, the ceremony of the reward will begin.
Adram,
set your mind at ease, my friend. No physical violence will be inflicted upon you.
But Adram, I have a question.
What is it, my friend?
Has anybody else ever tried to steal the ruby?
That is an intelligent question.
Yeah.
I will answer it when the time comes.
Well, why not answer it now?
I will answer it in a moment. Remember what I once said to you. Your life is precious to us. Advance, guardian of the heart of Kali.
The little old man.
You asked before whether anyone else had tried to steal the heart of Kali. The answer, my friend, is yes. Almost 45 years ago, it was attempted. At that time, we also had a Bata feast, the feast of the reward.
Adram, listen to me.
And in keeping with the laws of the temple, the thief received the reward which he now entrusts to you, the right to possess the heart which he so desired.
No, I don't want it.
For 40 years, the old man has been guardian of the heart. For 40 years, he has waited for one to love the heart as he did. Now, he will surrender it to you.
No, Adram, I don't want...
We greet you, guardian of the heart. From this day to the next feast of the reward, may you be close to and love that heart which shall be before you. Hail the new guardian.
How long ago was that? How many years? How many lifetimes? I don't even look at the ruby anymore. All I know is I've got my hand on the trapdoor switch, and somebody has to walk across it someday. Why not you? Oh, that ruby, that red heart. It's yours. It's as big as a grenade, and it's yours. Take it. Come and take it. Please. Please, somebody, come and get me. Please.
Under the direction of David Friedkin and Morton Fine, Escape has brought you The Heart of Kali, a story by Ross Murray. Featured in the cast were Paul Richards and Edgar Barrier. Also heard were Jack Crucian, Clayton Post, Lou Merrill, Herb Butterfield, Lou Krugman, and Paul Freese. Your announcer, George Walsh. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Leith Stevens. Next week. That's right, Gunsmoke. Now a word from William Conrad, who many of you know as Marshal Matt Dillon of Dodge City.
Thank you, George. You know, today marks the last of the current series of escape programs, and I know you will miss it as much as I shall. However, I would like to think that all of you who have listened to Escape these many months will now be able to take your pleasure in listening to Gunsmoke. Yes, starting next week, Gunsmoke will come to you on a new day at a new time. Chester, Doc, Kitty, and I, together with all of our strong-minded, brawling, hard-living citizens of Dodge, will come to you next Saturday, October the 2nd. So, goodbye for Escape. And we hope you'll all tune in to your local CBS radio station next Saturday, October 2nd, for Gunsmoke. Until then, thank you, and good night.
Thank you, Bill. Stay tuned now for Night Watch, which follows immediately over most of these same stations. Meet Corliss Archer for Monday Night Merriment on the CBS Radio Network.
Well, as you heard there at the end, Escape was to be replaced by the long-running series Gunsmoke. Funny thing about that was that William Conrad was not only the star of Gunsmoke, but he was the narrator for Escape for nearly its entire run. He was the man that coined the intro, "Tired of the everyday grind? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape." So to have Gunsmoke replace Escape truly was fitting indeed. The series aired from July 7th, 1947 through September 25th, 1954, with a total of 228 episodes. In my opinion, and that of many radio aficionados, Escape is probably the best adventure anthology ever broadcast. If you want to hear more of these great old shows, head to the Internet Archive and search for Escape. What you're going to find is that almost all of the 238 shows are still around, including some of the original audition broadcasts that were never actually aired. How about that? Well, that was episode number 619, and today I want to thank Johan G. for sharing and reading our story today. If you have a story that you want to share and it's in the public domain, I would love to hear about it. Please let me know. If you want to follow the podcast or the blog, head to ronsamazingstories.com. There you will find any of the links I mentioned and how to contact us. Do you want to help the show? The best thing you can do is to tell your friends all about it, and please leave reviews or feedback wherever you listen. Clicking that follow or like button helps us grow. Thank you for listening, and I hope you come again to find out what are Ron's Amazing Stories.
All of the vintage audio used in the podcast is believed to be in the public domain. Ron's Amazing Stories does not own the rights to any of the old-time radio used here. If you hold the rights to any of the shows played, please contact us immediately at ronsamazingstories.com.